Hi, Vincent Scully here from Cart Integrator, and welcome to today's training where we're going to look at sales and these various screens: orders, recurring profiles, returns, and gift vouchers. So orders are the lifeblood of our business. They can be accessed from the dashboard by clicking on either of these screens for total sales or total orders. So when we look at orders, we have our order ID, we have our customer name, we have the status, and we have the total, the date added, date modified, and various actions. We can filter over on the right hand side by entering in an order ID. So if I click 22 for example, and I hit filter, it's going to show me order ID 22. If I put in a customer name, so I put in Vinny, we can see we can drop in and filter by Vincent Scully. We can also look at filtering by order statuses. We can filter by, now we can see here, let me show you for an example. So we have filtered by the customer Vincent Scully, that's me, and we can see that there are 4 orders, 3 of which are marked complete. So I can filter further and drill down to look at only those complete orders, or I can look at cancelled orders, for example, and I can filter down. I can also filter by the total value or the date range. So if you want to look at what orders did the customer place on a particular date or between a range, you'll be able to filter that down here. So let's look at the order itself. So to view an order, we simply click on the icon and we select view. And on this screen we have quite a bit of information. We can see we've got our order details, we can see our store. If we're running multiple stores, this will tell us which store that order was placed in. We can see the date it was ordered, the payment method, and the shipping method. We can see the customer details, the customer group, customer email address, and customer telephone number. If we want to generate an invoice number, we will do that here. If we want to allocate reward points, if you have those configured in your store, and reward points are a great way of incentivizing your customers to become repeat customers. So you can define a reward point value for a product, and as customers purchase that product, they will accumulate those reward points, which they can redeem at a later point in their store or in your store against future orders. So a great way to incentivize your customers. If you have affiliates set up, you can allocate that affiliate payment when the order is marked as complete. We can see down here we've got payment details and shipping address details. We can see we've the information on the product itself, the price that was paid, subtotal, the shipping rate, and in this case there was a store credit applied. We can look at order history. So we can add in order history here. We can change our order statuses, or we can add comments. So I'm just going to put in a comment test and I've had that order history, and we can see there is a comment there. We have the option to notify the customer, and if you wanted to put a note to say whatever it might be to your customer, and if you notify, an email will be sent out once that notification button is ticked or box is ticked, and that notification will be sent by email, as I mentioned to them. The override function is if there was fraud detected, potential fraud detected in error, you can override that selecting this. The additional tab shows us information about the IP address of the customer, the user agent, i.e. the browser that they were using, and the language that they were using. And that's pretty much it for this aspect of the order screen, with the exception of the option to print an invoice. Now, with the standard Go Sell store, we have the ability to print an invoice, and you can then take that invoice and you can save it as a PDF and email that out to your customer. Within our Go Pro and our Go Dropship store, we have added further functionality which will allow you to automatically send an invoice directly to your customer once a particularly defined order status has been reached. So if we say, for example, when the order status is complete, it will trigger an email with a PDF invoice attached directly out to your customer. And also you have more customization options available within those levels with that particular extension. We can print our picking list. So the picking list will be useful if you have a warehouse and you want to send the order down to your warehouse staff to pick the order to get it ready for shipping. We can also edit the order. So let's take a look at that now. So within this section, you have a number of different tabs, and the tabs are not accessible from the upper area. They're accessible by clicking the continue button. So we can see we've got the store, we have the currency, customer details, etc. When we click continue, we then move to the product section. And we can see that what product was ordered. Now we can add to those products, so we can say increase that by 2 or by 1, giving 2 products, so we can see our unit price and our total has now increased. We can choose products from our store, and if we just put our mouse in that area and click, we can pick a product and we can add that quantity to the order. And if there is an option for for that product configured, you just click that and then click add product, and now that product has been added to our order and the corresponding values have increased. So now let's click continue. So now we're into our shipping screen. So this is the same as the previous screen, so I'm going to click continue. But if you wanted to specify a different address, if the customer had 2 addresses set up, you will be able to select that from this screen, and we're going to click continue. So we've got our shipping details, and now we have our order details. So we can see that we have our flat rate shipping, but as you see here, that has not been applied to the order. So if we have multiple different shipping rates applicable to the order, so as I mentioned in an earlier video with extensions, we can configure shipping rates based upon the zone that the customer lives in. So the country that the customer lives in, we may have a shipping zone set up, and the available shipping methods will be only shown for that particular shipping zone. So you won't see, for example, this is to Ireland. If a shipping zone was set up to the US, that won't be available here. So I'm going to click that and I'm going to apply it, and we'll see that applies up here. So we've got our flat rate shipping. Payment method was bank transfer, or we can select cash on delivery, but let's leave that as a bank transfer, and we're going to apply that to this order. We can say that this order is pending, and any comments we want to apply here, or if there's an affiliate, we can add them in there. Okay, so that's our order set up and modified. So if you want to manually adjust an order, this is how you would do it. So let's take a look at these other screens. So we have recurring profiles, and this will allow you to see any orders that are being paid for on a recurring basis. So you'll be able to keep track of those here. Any returns to your store will be visible here, and when we click on the edit button, we can see some information related to that return order, and we can define what action is going to happen with that particular order. So we might want to say credit issued, refunded, or replacement sent. And on the front end of our store, let me just jump in as a customer and let me show you how the returns would actually work. So I'm going to click here. This is my test customer, Vincent Scully. I'm going to click the down arrow and I'm going to click Cart Integrator, Kartra GO E-Commerce Store. If you had multiple stores, you would be able to select from those multiple stores. So now we can see our order history. So I'm going to take a look at this order here, number 19, for €85. So let's view that order, and we can see that I ordered a Canon EOS 5D, and now I have the option to reorder that product, or I have the option to return that product. When we click the return item, I have my details appear automatically. We can see the order date appears, and we can see that this is the product that I want to return. So I'm going to then have to give a reason why am I returning the product. So I'm going to say this was an order error, and I'm going to say that this order, the box was opened. So if there is any other information I want to provide, we would enter that information here. And now we click the submit button. And when we go back here to our sales and our return screen, we'll now see that we have two returns listed. So we can see there's my Canon EOS 5D, and we can see that we are awaiting products and the date it was added. So again, we can drop in here, and this is where we would keep history of what's going to happen. We can drop into our history section and we can add a note. So this might be an internal note that we don't want to notify the customer about, but it might be an internal note if we had a conversation with our client, for example, we might want to record the details of that conversation. But if we wanted to send information to the client in relation to this return, we would hit the notify button, and we will be able to see just going to put in some test data, and we will just add that history, and that will now appear in our history list, so you can keep track of what's happening with that particular return. Now, our gift vouchers section. Let's have a look here. Within the gift vouchers, we have two sections. So I'm going to look at voucher themes first before we look at the voucher options. So in voucher themes, we have the ability to create any theme that we want. So let's have a look here at birthday. So we have a birthday theme, and what it really does is allow you to customize it. You have a name and you can associate an image to it. We have Christmas, and we can see I've added in a little Christmas tree, and we have just a general voucher theme. So let's say we wanted to change this image. All we do is click the image, click the pencil, and now we're presented with our image section in the admin of our store. So let's say I just want to use this image. I can just select it, and now that's that image associated to that voucher. If I want to upload an image, I simply click the upload button and select the file from my PC or any location in my Dropbox or whatever it might be, and I upload that file, and it will appear in the list here, and then you click select, and that's it. It's fairly straightforward. Now, in our gift vouchers section, we are able to see any vouchers that were sold. So now let's take a look at the front end of our store and how we apply that voucher. So when we want to get a voucher, what we do is go down to extras and gift certificates. So I'm going to say now, I'm going to send this voucher to John Scully, and just let's say it's going to me, and my email address is Vinny, and I'm just going to say it's a general voucher, and I'll say, hi John. Okay, and I'm going to say that that voucher is worth 112. And I understand that gift certificates are not refundable. So I just click continue, continue, and I'm going to remove the iMac from this order. So there's my order for a gift voucher for John Scully. And I'm going to click checkout. And I go through the same checkout process as though I was purchasing a product. And now we click confirm order. So now let's go back to the admin, and what we see here is when we reload this, we can see we have our gift voucher. So we can see that that is being passed through from the front end to the back end. Now, when John Scully comes in, he can enter this code to purchase the voucher. Now, those voucher codes are not unique to the customer, as in John Scully. It's the code itself is unique. So let's go back to the front end of our store, and let's look at a product. So we've got our iMac here, and I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to add that to my cart. And now we can see I have the iMac available in my cart, and I'm going to click on use gift certificate. And I can enter that gift certificate here, and I've just put in a little space, we'll just delete that, and I can apply that certificate. But it says that the balance is being used up, or the gift certificate is either invalid or has been used up. So now we need to go back into the admin, and let's look at our sales and orders and see, well, this is actually marked as pending, so it's not actually a live valid certificate. So let's go in there and let's view that order. And now let's mark that as complete. Now, why would that have happened? Well, the reason being is I've selected that that is a bank transfer. So that as a bank transfer, it doesn't guarantee that the money is in my bank account. So only when I mark this as being complete will this be a valid order. So I'm going to mark that as complete, and we go back and we can see in our sales orders that this is now marked complete. So let's go back to the front of our store, and let's apply that same certificate, and now we see that that certificate has been applied. So this is an extra level of safety for you as you operate your store. Only that gift certificate will become applicable when you have marked it as complete. So that's really the sales aspect of the menu system in your Cart Integrator e-commerce store. It's fairly straightforward, fairly intuitive, and I hope that this training video has helped you understand and appreciate the power of the Cart Integrator e-commerce solution. Thank you.